I have a really simple policy. What does the customer say about you down the pub that night? Customer has to get what you say you're going to deliver. The money comes after. It's our job to make sure that the rest of the world understand how important it is to have fire suppression. We put out around about a fire a week and we save millions every month. The best businesses operate without you. I took the waste business from 10 million turnover to 25 million turnover just through COVID.
So Sam, welcome to the Smart Spaces podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself and a bit about your business?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I'm Sam Malins, CEO of a group of companies. I've got a waste management company back in the UK, manufacturing business in the UK that operates UK, Dubai, Arizona, and a couple of other things that go on. I've got a barn hire business out here. So yeah, just a few companies operating around the world.
Great. And then tell us a bit about your origin story. So yeah, where you started out, where your career started.
So I've always been a bit of a wheeler dealer. Back in school, sold mobile phones, had a mobile disco for 10 years. I've always enjoyed the dealing side and making a bit of money and bettering my life myself. And so left school, worked at the airport, went and sold some cars for a little while, and then ended up in the family business in 2004. Small business. We were actually going to close it down because it wasn't really making any money. And my dad had two businesses. He had a roofing company, which was his main company, and then he had the waste business that he effectively bought in the early 90s for the land.
Oh, okay.
Stopped earning money, and then I took it over in 2004. Built it up a little bit until I met my business partner in 08, 09. And then we kind of got our heads together and really started to build the waste side. And on the side of that, we started a fire suppression business, protecting the waste management industry.
Ah, okay. Is that where the idea came from?
It was a bit of a longer story.
No, go for it. I want to give me the story. Great, go, yeah.
So another friend of mine down the pub always said to me, he always said, I've got this idea. And at the time, I was working for my dad in the family business. Me and him didn't align on our business ethics fully, not ethics, but like the way we do business. So I was running it. I was early 20s, and I just got on with it and ran with it. But when I look back at my school days, I was selling phones, I was selling all sorts, and then I was selling, and then I was doing mobile disco. So in my head, I was an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you are.
But in 08, 09, 10, I wasn't. I was just running a business. So the friend of mine said to me, I've got this idea. We want to protect thatched roofs.
No, okay.
Right, there was in Essex.
Plenty of thatch.
Yeah, and a lot of thatched properties going up in flames. And what he said is, once they start to catch fire, you can't stop them. The house is gone. So he said,
I know a friend that had that.
Yeah. In Essex?
No, not Essex, funny enough. Yeah, he lives in the south of England, but still.
Well, that happened all over. And what we understood is the bricks get a crack in the mortar, and then you put the fire on in the winter, and it travels through, lights the thatch. And then because it's got no air to it, works its way through the thatch. And as soon as it sees air, off it goes. So we come up with a system that solved that. And then, like I'm sure
it's pretty niche. I mean, there's lots of thatched houses, but I see where you're going with the story.
It's very niche, but we were thinking about solving a problem.
Yeah.
We weren't thinking about the business case.
No, gotcha.
We knew that, we thought we'll sell to thatched owners. And then I love this. We went to a few thatched owners and they went, yeah, brilliant. I've got insurance. And I'm like,
yeah, it's a bit late.
Right. And they said, I've never had a problem. So right, okay. So then we realized commercially, we're just going to be banging our head against the wall. So that, lessons of business.
No, totally. Real life.
Are all the way through your life. And that was the first one to me. Great idea. Struggle to sell it. And I didn't want to be knocking on thatched owners when they're going, I've got insurance, mate. I've never had an issue before. I was like, I'm not doing that. So then we thought, well, we're in the waste industry. Why don't we protect waste equipment? Which is ironic. It's silly, really. I don't always tell the first story because you'd think, as businessman, I would have thought about protecting the waste industry straight away.
Yeah, maybe.
So then we thought, right, we'll protect waste equipment. Then I really started to learn about leverage and about leveraging your customers to the next customer, to the next customer, and understanding that, you know, if you look after one customer properly, you're going to leverage that customer. So it was a really good lesson. We started the business in 2010. We found a supplier that we like to work with, and we actually employed our first employee in 2013. So we didn't really turn over anything in 2013. Today, that group of businesses will turn over about 15 million.
Nice.
And this year, the budget is to turn over 19 million.
Wow.
And that, so the manufacturer we were using in 2013, we brought their competitor in 2016.
Oh, we'll bet they were a bit devastated.
Yeah. Well, they didn't quite know what we do with the business at that point, but they weren't happy. But we needed more control around the product.
Yeah, of course.
The quality wasn't quite to where we wanted.
Okay.
We wanted the certification. We wanted the best for our customers.
No, totally. And you can provide better value to your customers as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we did that in 2016, took control of it, learned a lot over that 2 or 3 years. And then 2018, we got our first approval. We were only turning over a few hundred grand really in 18, 19. And then the business just started to ramp up before COVID. And then had a big stall, and then out the back end of COVID, the business has just taken off.
So many questions there. Let's wind back to working with your dad. I work with my brother. My brother's my business. He's my co-founder and my partner. Yeah, it can be a tough dynamic sometimes, but most of the time amazing. What was it like working with your dad in those early days?
So I never know what. I think he listens to the stuff that I put out. But look, I think the best example I've got is he's old school mentality, right? He does a very, very good job on site when he's doing. He's a roofer. He's got a roofing company, but the customer service aspect of it, is not there.
Am I seeing a link there actually? Like, is that because he's a roofing company? Is that where the thatch thing come in at all? Or
no,
not?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. But he did build me a mini roof to start doing it. So he's always been really supportive, extremely supportive. But the customer, I'm customer like obsessed. Like the customer has to get what you say you're going to deliver, and it doesn't matter. The money comes after. So little things like, on the skip side, we'd knock a wall down, and we've delivered a £200 skip. It's a £1,000 wall. I would just fix it. Now he would not. That's not his. It's not really in him. He's like, well, terms, conditions, etc. And I'm like, I have a really simple policy. What does the customer say about you down the pub that night? And if you knock the wall over, he's not happy.
No, do you know what? That is great advice. I mean, yeah. What do they say about you down the pub? Yeah, exactly. Behind your back.
So they've experienced your customer during your business during the day. What are they going to say about you? And if you've knocked their wall down, they're going to be angry. And I wanted to diffuse that. I wanted them to be. And I learned early on I went to the Brad Sugars School of Business, right? Brad Sugars owns a company called Action Coach. Have you come across them?
No, I haven't actually. No.
So Brad Sugars, Australian, lives in the US. He owns a global company called Action Coach, and they teach business, but they teach the most simple fundamentals of business. And early on, I learned about raving fans, and it was about making your customers raving fans, and that's what I believed in then. That's what I believe in now, and that's where we had that slight difference. I believe in investing heavy, probably too much, and he'll tell me now, you invest too much. I'm like, well, I still disagree. He will think a lot about buying a new van for his business, and I'll go and spend millions on new skip trucks because I want them to look right and I want them to come across right. And they're where we don't align.
No, it's really interesting.
He's always been extremely supportive, but I couldn't work with him because we were always butting heads when it comes to that.
So is he no longer in the group now for Dunbar?
I've never really worked with him.
Oh, okay.
It was his business, but I took the reins and run off. But I've never actually worked with him. I've messed up a couple of times and he's bailed me out.
Oh, amazing! Oh, wow, that's great. That is amazing.
Where I've over leveraged myself, probably from buying all the new skip trucks.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But now I make sure that the family are in a good place. So yeah,
No, fantastic. And I think you've already explained it, but how do you find new customers? Is it purely word of mouth of your existing customers? So you go into a new market like Australia, how do you get into that market?
So I will find the leverage point. So I will find that person, or that person will find us. And then I will make sure that I hone down on that person to then build it out. Because I believe if someone's contacted us about a service, there's a small need there, and you can turn that small need into a big need or a big opportunity. And I think that when I see my sales team operate, sometimes I think that sometimes they'll think it's a small inquiry, he's half interested, and I take it upon myself as a mission to make him go from half interested to let's build this opportunity out together. And then you're just again leveraging the relationships along the way. So we get small inquiries in from 1 or 2 man band that we've moved into spending millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars with us, hundreds of thousands of dollars with us, into the millions. So and that's just from one small inquiry. We build the relationship, we understand their hunger for what we do. That's on the fire side. So yeah, that's how.
In terms of that original lead, is that coming through your website? Where's the initial lead into the business?
So website, obviously I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I think people buy from people, as we know. They buy from understanding the stories, the struggles of our early days. I think that's it. That's important. We're all people at the end of the day, and everyone can relate to coming from nothing to where we are now. And I think that, for my businesses, I've always tried to keep this personable as possible. So my team are really friendly. My team are great. We have a no idiots policy. And we want to be friendly. We want to support the customers. Everyone says it, but we genuinely, that's our values.
It's so funny because we interviewed the CEO of a facilities management company yesterday, like turning over 200 million, huge company. And he spoke about culture for so much time in the podcast because he said that's been the secret to his success. So yeah, it's key. Does that mean, say you get a lead from Australia, do you fly out there? Like, because you said you like to do things in person, like at what point do you move to that location to meet the person physically rather than do it online?
So as quickly as you possibly can, I think. I mean, we've got on the manufacturing side, we've got teams in the UK, America, and here for that exact reason, to be able to get out to our customers as quickly as possible. I spend a lot of my time in Saudi because, again, there's a big opportunity there for us, and the product's quite new, so we need to handhold our clients and their clients through the process on where what we can do, where we bring value, because we're on the fire suppression side. We're not just a tick box. We are genuinely saving machines, saving lives, and we need to, and people don't always understand that. Sometimes it's treated as a tick box exercise.
No, of course,
probably much like yourself.
Yeah, I really want to delve into that. Before we go there, back to the team. How many staff do you have globally now?
Just under 200 across the groups.
Wow.
So a lot of is about 120 odds, and then the fire businesses are 70 something.
And how do you maintain your culture, inspire your team? Like, how do you do that when you're based here, your team in the UK? How do you like? Do you meet online regularly? Yeah, talk us about how you manage
With
your culture.
difficulty, I'm gonna, and that's the honest answer.
No, fair
I do
play. I love
find
the
it
answer.
difficult because I've just taken on a new COO, and it's one of our missions to get that to spend more time with the team to create that culture, and create and talk more about the mission of the businesses. And what I it's funny, we were talking about the other day. I I really believe, and what I like doing is leading from the middle, right? And it's something that I haven't really heard before, but I like being. I'm at my I'm in my favorite point where take the skip yard or the waste management business. I'm in the middle of that yard, helping people on everyone's level, making that day go perfectly.
Amazing.
It's so hard when you're the CEO looking after 3 or 4 businesses because you can't physically be on the ground doing that anymore.
No, no.
And that's the nature of the beast as you grow these businesses. So we're working out at the moment how we can actually have that same effect of me leading from the middle.
Yes, no, I really like it. Yeah.
We haven't quite mapped it out yet, but it's something which we're looking at. And the answer to the question is employ amazing leaders within the business. And they can make up for your weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is reminding the team why we're here.
Totally.
Because I'm always doing
Yeah.
something.
Do you have like any interesting ways of interviewing people? Like, if say there's a role available in your company, is it an online interview? Is it in person? Do you have like a team? And how do you bring in hires with those values?
So from the high level side, I'll always be in the interviews. I've slowed the processes down now.
Yeah.
Like with my COO, for example, I was talking for months and months and months. We spent so much time together before we employed him, and I really enjoy that because we'll go for lunch, coffees, and I can really understand where our values align. So when they start, you're not so worried about it.
Yeah, you don't get any like surprises.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the nature of the beast. I employed a managing director on the waste management side, having had a very bad experience with my last team, and you've lost your confidence in a managing director. Your confidence is all over the place. So I spent a lot more time on the integration of him going into the business, and I was still petrified. And I think ultimately risk is a big aspect. I'm not worried about being knocked down, getting up again, but we learn, and I want to get it right. I want to get it right, not just for me, but for the team underneath them.
Yeah, no, exactly.
When you get it right, it's so rewarding.
No, amazing. And when did you last get your team together physically? Like, do you ever do that? Do you ever have like all 200 in the same venue?
No,
or space?
I don't. No.
But do you need to? Do you need to?
I don't feel I need to. I'd like to, but I don't feel I need to. And I think part of that is probably my mind's always a year, 2, 3 years ahead. And I think about scalability, and you think if we double the size, it's just not viable. So you need to try and manage the business, as if we double the size. And getting the team together from the UK, Dubai, US is extremely hard. So look, we have weekly meetings with the teams. I have daily calls with my MD, weekly calls with my other MD. I tend to let people go and do their thing. Yeah.
What's the employee split between Dunmo and Reacton in terms of number of employees?
There's a numbers.
Yeah.
So the Dunmo is about 120 people, and the fire businesses, there's 2 fire businesses. They're both about 30, 35 each. There's one UK based, and then Reacton is global.
Yeah, no, interesting. So let's talk about Reacton. Reacton is the fire suppression, correct?
Reacton is a fire suppression manufacturing business, yeah.
Brilliant. And do you have statistics on how many fires you've prevented? Or
we do. they're not great statistics because we're relying on our distributors feeding that information up. But I do have statistics on Fireward. Fireward is our UK distributor owned by us, and we put out around about a fire a week.
Wow.
And we save millions every month on asset costs, let alone on costs from what that could have damaged and the lives we saved.
And talk to me about the different assets you protect.
So the best way of explaining it is diggers, excavators, loading shovels, anything with an engine, anything that moves with an engine, we protect. Buses, heavy plant, mining equipment. Our biggest markets globally are buses. We protect around 4,000 school buses in the UAE.
That's a lot of lives you're protecting as well.
That's a lot of lives every day. You think, I mean, there's an average of about 40 kids per bus. And we protect 4,000 school buses in the UAE. So it's a lot of lives, and that's, I'm really proud to do that.
No, totally.
The mining equipment, so underground mining, overground mining, we protect a lot of that. Buses all around the world. So we're OEM suppliers to some of the largest manufacturers in the world. And then in the UK, predominantly the waste management industry, and then just pockets around the world. For mining, we protect the world's largest open cast gold mine in Uzbekistan. And we're making inroads into India, Africa, and other pockets around the world.
Yeah, yeah. And so is there regulation? Like, if I own a fleet of coaches, do I have to put your system in, or is it optional? How does that work?
So in the UAE, yes. In Europe, yes. There's looser laws in Europe, but there's, again, pockets around the world. Taiwan have just put in a mandatory fire suppression for buses. There's pockets around the world. TfL within the M25 is mandatory. We're the leader in fire suppression in the UK through one of our partners there. So there's pockets all around the world, and it's our job to make sure that the rest of the world understand how important it is to have fire suppression.
Yeah. And what about the insurance industry? Are they stipulating it to their customers they need this?
Yeah. So mining in particular is a good one. So say you've got a mine in Africa owned by a US company, then their insurance company will then stipulate that it's mandatory for that mine or all of their mines to have fire suppression.
Is that a route to market for you? Like, do you partner with insurance companies?
We do. It's tough, but we do. We do in the UK because we're there. We've worked with them for a long time. But in other pockets, it's tough because you've got to have the technical sales guys to go in and speak the language to these insurance guys. They like the technical aspect. They like to know the real. Yeah.
Is it always a retrofit item?
Good question. It's no. We supply BYD. We're in certain locations around the world. I think they're second or third biggest bus manufacturer globally. So we supply them on the factory line. We supply another couple of smaller manufacturers, but predominantly it's either dealer fit. So the bus comes into the country and comes in without fire suppression, like in the UAE on the school bus side. And then they need to, before they register the bus, they need to then supply fire suppression to a certain standard, and then they can register the bus. So most of it is retrofit, but it's becoming closer to 50-50, I would say.
Okay. And there's a setup cost, which is getting the equipment, installing it. What's the repeat business like? What happens? You have to service this equipment. How do you get the repeatable business from your customers?
The great thing about our product is the ongoing costs are very small.
Okay.
We've got a very low, you don't need to service, you need to inspect it and make sure that the system is as it's installed, but very low service cost.
Okay.
Which gives the advantage to our distributors to go out and look after. They've got a low cost basis, but they have to go out and look after them, the systems, to make sure that they're as installed. One of the biggest problems is other mechanics being in, playing around with the engine, changing pipes, changing filters, and then disrupting our system. So they need to make sure that it's always.
Yeah. So
always.
How do you manage that? How do you make sure that they've installed it correctly? Because it's like life or death.
Yeah, so it's a good question. Again, I was just in a meeting in the foyer out there talking to a new technical manager that we're hoping to get on board. So that will put 2 in this region that then constantly support our customers. Again, going back to what we're talking about, if our customers are happy, their customers are happy, we're happy, and we get repeat business.
Yeah, brilliant. Every now and then, I don't know how often it is, so I won't quote it, but I see an invoice come across my desk for fire extinguishers that because they've expired. How often do you have to change your like extinguisher equipment, like the units themselves?
Every 10 years.
I might say 10 years.
Yeah.
Cool. My business has been going longer than I thought then.
Yeah.
So yeah, or I'm getting stitched up by my facilities manager.
I don't know. It's a good point. On normal fire extinguishers, I don't know. They've got different regulations, but it might be 5 years.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So I met Sam at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Was it 2 years ago?
No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Longer than that.
3 years maybe.
Yeah.
And obviously you live here. Tell us about the time when you decided to relocate to Dubai, where your head was business-wise, how you managed leaving the Dunmo, which is a physically, it's in Dunmo, it's a physical business, it's not an online business. Tell us about that journey, when the first inkling came, and yeah, how you've managed that.
We'll start with I love a challenge, right? So a challenge from it, one of my challenges has always been to better myself, better my businesses, and kind of climb the invisible ladder. Yeah. So, and when you talked about the Brad Sugar School of Business, we talk about a business that the best businesses operate without you.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Good to Great, Jim
good,
Collins.
yeah,
great
Good to
book.
Great. Yeah. So I think I've read all of them. I've read probably getting up towards 100 books, and all of those pieces of info have supported my growth in bettering myself and bettering the businesses. I get a lot wrong, obviously, but we built the businesses, and I decided I wanted to better my life. I was probably based in Essex, based in the UK. It was kind of a drinky lifestyle. I probably, ultimately, I think deep down I wasn't majorly happy. A business made me happy, family was good, everything was okay, but I wanted to better that. So I decided I wanted to move out. I'm the type of guy that always went on holiday, and wherever I was like, I could live here.
I'm a bit like that.
Whatever age, I'm like, I'm in Spain or Portugal, wherever it is, or in Vegas, I'm like, I can live here. I could definitely live here. So I think I always had a draw to go out the UK. So it wasn't like a whim situation.
No.
I was like, right, I'm going to leave. I think I was always destined to leave the UK. And this is what I say about Dubai. I'd come over here on business a few times. We got the opportunity to work with the civil defence over here, and there was an opportunity to supply the buses over here with fire suppression. So whenever I come over here, I just loved it. And the best way to explain it is, whenever I had to get on a plane, imagine when you drag your kids out of a store and they're like kicking and screaming. That was how I felt in my head when I had to leave Dubai.
No way.
I just felt like I was kicking and screaming. Like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. So this was pre-COVID. So I was kind of making moves, thinking, I want to move there. I want to move there.
And when did you first come to Dubai, the very first time? What year?
I came in 2009 was my first time. Only spent a few days here. Didn't really know too much about it then. Palm had just kind of been built, but it was in the crash. So nothing was really going on here. Come back in 2015 for a few days, loved it.
Yeah.
And then me and Emma, my now wife, got together in 2000 and should know this, but about 2017-ish. Yeah. And then we spent a bit of time here. And then 2019 was when we started working with the civil defence here, and it started to get a bit exciting. There was stuff happening here from a business perspective, and I'm like, brilliant. Like,
yeah, great.
So thought about it pre-COVID, COVID hit, and then the fire businesses then kind of dropped off a cliff during COVID. We couldn't ship anything out. So I concentrated on the waste business, and I took the waste business from 10 million turnover to 25 million turnover just through COVID.
Wow.
And it just showed me what I can do when I'm not allowed out the country.
Yeah. And that's a reduction in waste, because obviously there's probably less construction. People at home, and the restaurants haven't got waste because they're not open. So you actually managed to double in a time that you'd think would be really difficult.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed out of the country. I wasn't allowed to go on holiday. So I realized as we come out, I was like, did we really do that? Like just, and we were riding the wave. Everyone was doing the homes up, etc. And we just doubled down on it and went, right, let's go. And so we did that. We come out the back end of it. I was knackered by doing that. We bought a couple of businesses. It was like full on, flat out, go. And then come out the back end of it, and I was just a bit tired. And then I come over here to close down the operation out here that we'd started pre-COVID. And
that's crazy. Like you're coming to close it down.
Come to close it down in, I can't remember when it was, October, November 21. And about 2 weeks before I come to close it down, I got a phone call from someone out here that said, I want to buy fire suppression off you. There's a big opportunity here for buses. I was like, right. So came out on holiday, and I didn't spend much time with the family. I spent the whole time doing this negotiation with this company, our now partner. And then that was me. I was back in now. I was like, right, I want to move out here again. And everything was back on the line. And then we got the contract. We won the first big tender for 2,000 buses. And then I moved out here in September 22.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
and what was that conversation like with the family? Were they, yeah, let's go? Or
we're moving.
Amazing. Wow, brilliant.
Yeah, I think my partner then, wife now, was happy to give it a go. You know, it was quite a bit of uncertainty. It was tough moving here. I think that particularly we make it look easy. It's our mentality, right? We're going to do this. We make it look easy, but it's not. And I think that to the partner, to the wife, to the family, I think we make it look too easy, and all the stress comes on them. But there's a lot that needs to be lined up. You know, from having businesses in the UK that have got 35 million revenue, and moving somewhere, and you're the CEO, and you probably don't realize how influential you are. I don't, because I look at myself as just Sam.
Yeah, yeah. They feel like you're leaving them, abandoning them.
Yeah, but you think, oh, they'll be all right. You know, I'm just Sam. Why do they need me? And then you realize that actually they did need me. I put a board into Dunmo that were particularly bad, and they caused a lot of damage to the business, and and it's taken a long time to unwind that. But I put a team into Reacton and Firewall, and they've been phenomenal. So we were talking about it just before about team and what's allowed me to do this, and it's team. The team on the far side have been phenomenal.
Yeah, amazing.
And to be honest, a lot of the team on Dunmo have been phenomenal underneath the board. They've propped the business up to not let it go down the drain. And then I went back last year, done a load of changes, put a new managing director in that's doing really well. So yeah,
it's where your attention is. Sometimes your attention strays, things can happen. Yeah, it's keeping the control of everything. Obviously, we're in Dubai now. Let's come back to Dubai and just talk about, how did you decide where to live here? Like, how did you choose your home? What did you do? Go and view a load of different properties? How did you decide on location?
So I think there's only one place to live here, which is Jumeirah Golf Estates. I just love it. I love the community. I love the way. I love the houses there. So the story on that is we booked a 3-week holiday over here. I booked it on Airbnb, and we weren't moving at this time. We wanted to, but we weren't moving at this time. I say we wanted to. It was kind of a pipe dream. And then we had a house on Airbnb. A week and a half before I come over here, they cancelled it, and that was on Damac Hills or something. And then and then they gave us another place, and that got cancelled in about 3 days before.
Is that a common thread here or not?
I don't know, but I mean, I'm
coming out online like cancel.
Yeah, just I mean, for me, luckily, I then ended up in a place in Whispering Pines in Jumeirah Golf Estates, and I remember driving to the house, and I was like, I'm done. I am moving here. I'm done. So we spent 3 weeks there. Absolutely loved it. Understood a lot more about the Dubai life. It's a healthier, more positive environment. It's not perfect by any way,
No, of
shape, or
course.
form, but it's got a great atmosphere, and you make of it what you make of it.
No, totally.
But it's we did 3 weeks of living here properly.
Yeah.
Fell in love with it. Found a place here in July, and then we moved in September.
Wow, amazing. Do you play golf?
Yeah.
Oh, good. And is your handicap reduced because
No.
you live? Okay, fair play.
I did play yesterday, and I said to the guys, "So what are you playing off?" I said, "I played that off 18 for 25 years, and I'm not going to stop now."
Amazing.
So I love golf. I enjoy it, but there's always something going on up here that stops me playing well.
No, okay.
But look, I love it.
Do you enjoy it? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love it.
And that's your access to nature almost, like the greenery and stuff.
Yeah, but also networking. I played with a couple of great lads yesterday that I hadn't met before, and I think it's brilliant for spending some time with people, for closing relationships. Yeah.
No,
Getting
amazing.
out and about, day out of the office, I absolutely love it.
We're gonna have to get a game one time.
so definitely.
How many golf courses are on that estate?
2 golf courses. You got Earth and Fire.
Yep.
I live on Earth, which is a DP World's final.
Can you see that from your home, the course?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I
nice.
live on the 8th. On the
Oh,
8th
wow.
hole, yeah.
Can you sneak out and have a
Yeah. So it's great. The community there, great. I've met some amazing friends there, and yeah, it's a good, positive life.
That is the thing that stands out the most, is the culture here. And what I've noticed is, like, everyone is like radiant with positivity, and I think everyone's quite like-minded. And you know, I met my co-panelists this morning to go out onto stage, and like their positivity and their like how welcoming they were for me just instantly relaxed me. Like, you know, typically before going on stage, quite nervous, as you'd imagine, but I just got out there and I was just chilled, and yeah, big smiles on their faces. Yeah, it's really good, and I think that is important for business, isn't it? And has that made it easy to hire or hard? Like, tell me about when you're hiring in Dubai, how you find these people.
So I've got a business networking group here that I started
Really?
called Bitter.
Nice.
So I got on very, very well with the UK founder, Paul. And when I came over here, I stopped drinking, as you know, 2.5 years ago.
Amazing.
And I thought to myself, you know, I used to meet a lot of people through having a few beers, having a laugh.
That was pretty much how we met.
And I'd probably met everyone on that night. And then get friendly with a handful of people, and that was going to stop because I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
So I thought, how can I get myself out of the house and not go into my cave? So I started up a networking group, and I mean, my EA came from a recommendation, knowing that I've started that. One of my guys that works for me on the plant hire side here, he come through that. So you get a bit of floor time with them before you start working with them. But that employing here is tough. But it's just tough to find the right people, like anywhere. But you need to put your time and effort into it. You know, it's quite dog eat dog here, and you need to make sure, you know, everyone's here, everyone's hustling, everyone's trying to earn the money, everyone's trying to survive, but it's an expensive survival. And it's just making sure you find the right, like-minded, you know, you have to have thick skin here, but you have to just progress. And if you don't, then it's not, you certainly don't want that person working for you.
No, but I think there's another thread there that, like you said earlier, about when you hire the senior individuals, how much time you spend with them prior to hiring them. And is it BITA or beta? How do you pronounce it?
It's bitter, but it's BITA.
Yeah, it's bitter.
Yeah.
That gives you that chance.
Exactly.
And also you probably get a bit of a peer review, because you go, oh, what do you think of this person? A bit like what you said about your customer success, and like you want customers to talk about you positively. You get the same with the individuals that join.
For me, it builds trust. You know, I like giving back to the community, as in I like putting people together, and I love seeing them then do deals together. So for me, you know, I'm fortunate. I've grown my businesses. I'm in a really fortunate position, and I like I like helping people, which is a big part of starting the group, as well as me having, you know, that access to like a social network of people that know me. I mean, we had a dolphin event in December, and we had the CEO, COO, CFO of Alec there. So you've got some good good people that are coming along and enjoying these networking events. So for me, it's about making sure we put on great events and put people together that get on.
I wanted to ask that. What type of events? Obviously golf. What else do you do?
So we do bitter crack events, which is about just getting people together and just having just a good crack. Like it's Irish. Like the founder is Irish in the UK. That's why I like it. I've always got on well. Being in the waste industry, there's a lot of Irish in the waste industry. I've always got on well, and they're kind of a work hard, play hard, have a few beers, do a bit of business, and I like that.
No,
attitude.
totally.
And that's what bitter is about. It's about closing your relationships, friendly relationships, but doing business as well.
No, brilliant.
So,
yeah, nice. That's fantastic. Well, look, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Absolute pleasure.
Wishing
Thanks
the
for
most
inviting
success.
us.
I think we're tapping into your advice about Dubai. We are hiring in here, so I think I might have to come to one of your beta events pretty soon. Also
Yeah,
get that
100%.
game of golf in. Just want to tell everyone where we can find you.
In Dubai, obviously. So I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I think that's where people can find me and just see a bit of my journey through being a CEO, running the businesses. So I would say LinkedIn's probably the
yeah,
best bet.
amazing. Thank you.